Right, we're live. Good evening, good evening, good evening, Boss Lady Live fans. 8:03. No, 8
Mm-hmm.
o'clock. It's 8 o'clock.
The eye.
It's 8 o'clock in the eye. We're waiting on persons to log on as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Log on www. youtube.com/ the totally male. We're going to give them a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
to log on. Persons are normally tardy. Take a while before it starts
Yep.
coming up. So, Caleen, you're really looking sharp tonight.
Thank you.
Really. You should have told me that I should dress up,
Oh my God.
right? I know we're talking about sexuality and everything tonight.
Yes.
Well, at least I'm showing a little skin, So
There you go. There you go. Just a little shoulder.
just a little shoulder, yes. So, um, you know, this is a, this is a, this is a. Well, I have done something not the same, something similar, but more on the medical side, and
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to do something from your angle, which is taking responsibility for, sprucing up your sex life and, um, you know, um, and doing something different. Doing
Certainly.
something different, stepping out of your box, learning to dance. I never would even think of that. You know, my glasses fogging up. Just talking about sex, my glasses fogging up. Right? So, that is why I want us to have this conversation. But, reading your bio,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wait until at least one or two people sign on first before we get into your bio.
Right.
Reading your bio, I didn't realize that you did so many things. I know you had a radio program. I didn't know you were an author. So you're doing a lot. I listen to you all the time, Not because I don't maybe comment or say anything. 'Cause I'm a
Oh
peeper.
my.
Like just like how people like to come on my program and peep, and then they
Yes.
inbox me. But I listen to you a lot of times, and I watch some of
My
your
life.
things on your
Mm-hmm.
life, and some of your snippets on your Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're going on with things. I know you're going on with things. But how are you, first of all?
I am hungry. A tear come from the gym and hurry up and put myself together. Trust me, under normal circumstances,
Darling,
I would
you
still be
did
at the
put
gym.
yourself together. You came
Thank you.
together. Yes,
Nothing like a bath. Oh my God,
nothing
it can
like a
change your
bath,
whole
I'm
life.
telling you.
Right.
Yeah,
So
man.
but didn't eat. So I
Mhm.
just stuffed on a piece of bun so I lift my blood sugar before I get into the
Right.
conversation with you. But outside of that, I am good. I am thanking God. I
Yes.
have so
And you're the
many things
picture
to
of
be
health.
grateful for. Thank you.
And you are the
So many
picture of
things.
health. Your skin is
Giving
like
thanks, my
your
dear.
skin is like saying one.
Thank you. Thank you very
Glowing, you're
much.
glowing, you're glowing. So whatever you're doing, continue to do it.
Lord, my love, I need a whole regimen. When you get to my age, you need a regimen. And my thing is
Don't
that I
take.
am, yeah, man. I've been very tired in that department. I'm, as I said, good genes
But
and
you were just coming from the gym, though.
yeah, man. No, no. But when I said a regimen in terms of my skincare, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
wash face and put on little lotion. I eat that. That is the sum total.
When God bless you, see, when God bless you with nice, clean skin, you don't have to do much. I must
Lord,
confess, I don't have a regime either. I don't
seriously, you're the
know.
last person I expect to say
I
that.
don't know. Honestly, I don't. I, I don't use. I rarely use products on my face because the truth is, anytime I use any products on my skin, I bump up. My skin is
Oh.
extremely sensitive. But I've
Mm-hmm.
been blessed. My mother died at 82, and
Yes.
never, hardly any wrinkles, and
Wow.
very lovely skin. So
Awesome.
I'm as blessed as you.
There you
Okay, so
go,
we're
honey.
going. So I'm gonna start.
Hmm.
Welcome, Caleen.
Yes.
This evening. Well, first of all, fans, like, share, um, subscribe to our page. We have excellent, excellent information on our page. We have several different guests that we have been interviewing for the past, I would say, maybe about 5 months now.
Hmm.
We started a little after COVID, and we have I've been putting out information that I know people need,
Want to hear, right?
right?
Hmm.
A lot of them don't even know what they need. They know what they want,
Hmm.
but they don't necessarily know what they need. And so
Mm.
I have been putting out information that, persons talk to me from time to time privately, that I know they want information but are afraid or shy to seek
Hmm.
the information.
Yes.
And I'm Miss Boldy, so I bring them the information, and God has blessed me with the gift of what you say, me know plenty people.
Hmm.
What you call that?
Network. You have an amazing network.
I have a arsenal in terms of
Whoa.
network, because
Beautiful.
I've been, apart from being with the airlines for 10 years, I worked several years before. I'm working from I'm 18 years old. And
Wow.
so I worked with the airlines for almost 10 years, and then I'm in my business now, which you'll meet a lot of people,
Yes.
26 years now. So
Woo.
I have had a lot of, I've met a lot of interesting and people of knowledge, I like to call them, like yourself,
Hmm.
people who step outside the box and try to bring happiness
Mm.
in people's lives. Happiness, or I would say optimal health.
Hmm.
So those are some of the people that I target.
Awesome.
Mental health, physical health, sexual health, um, just in general, a happy and peaceful and just good overall lifestyle. And
Hmm.
so that's what I'm trying to achieve with this program, to just be the best you that
Right.
you can be. And so I would like to welcome Miss Caleen Diedrick. Awesome person. I mean, I admire you. I'm one of your fans. You don't know that, but
I didn't know.
I admire people who who are considered brave. Because what you teach in terms of your Ferveda classes and all of that, who else teaches it here, really? Does anybody else teach it here? I don't think
Nobody.
so.
No.
Exactly. So I must say, kudos to you,
Thank you.
because I know this is your passion. I can see from when
Hmm.
you do it.
Yes.
And I am sure you have helped many people.
Hmm.
And that's what I hope to do with this program, to help persons who are not brave enough to step out there and to say, okay, this is me, this is what I
Hmm.
want, this is what I do, and who don't like it tough. That kind of way. Because I
Yes.
know you must have had to have a thick skin to go into this
Line of business.
area, this
Yes.
line of business. I'm
Hmm.
not even asking you. And people I don't really know are that way, right? We have not really had a
Right.
conversation. But because
Hmm.
I'm out there and I know you must have had um run-ins, buck-ups,
Hmm.
um, people who look down on, people
What it is
who,
that I do. Yes.
yes,
Hmm.
people who even scorn because they're holier than thou. But
Yes.
here what happened? Sexuality, me say, happiness, me say, 21st century, me say,
Right.
2020, me say, and just keeping it real. Because
Hmm.
if truth be told, many persons would like to step into
Hmm.
another level, but they are
Are
afraid to be
afraid.
judged, to be
Absolutely.
judged.
Right.
So let me just introduce you and then you can take it from there because I'll be asking questions. My people are slow tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw many persons saying on my Instagram page that it's a must watched or
Yep.
must watch. I don't know where they are.
They're
They're probably
coming.
just organizing themselves to come on. So,
1 second. Wait, wait. I need to kill something. 1 second.
okay, all right, no problem. All right, so let me introduce her until she comes back. Okay, so Miss Caleen Diedrick is a wellness
The rain is
practitioner.
bringing out the bugs.
Huh?
Oh my God. I said the rain is bringing out the bugs.
Oh,
Oh, I had to get rid of it. I'm so sorry.
be careful. All right, so let me start
Jesus.
over.
Right.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, so Miss Caleen Diedrick is a wellness practitioner with special focus on rehabilitation, didn't know that,
Mm-hmm.
personal development, and behavior modification. She is a certified life and relationship coach, motivational speaker, sexuality coach, author, and radio personality.
Mm.
She owns and operates two businesses, Fervida and Connect Coaching Services. At Connect Coaching Services, she provides professional life and
And
relationship coaching for individuals. She develops and implements wellness programs in organizations and provides business coaching. Fervida is a series of dance classes and workshops she designed to empower women to fall in love with themselves and harness their sensuality, sorry, along with increasing their sexual presence and prowess. She is host of the radio show Life and Love Unleashed on RGR 94 FM. Her book, Mayhem, Mirth, and Mastery, interesting title, chronicles her journey to date as a single parent. It
mm.
is real and raw. It's a real and raw account of the trials and triumphs of motherhood and personal discovery. Mayhem, Mirth, and Mastery is a self help book geared to helping mothers, single mothers in particular, put into perspective their parenting process, their love relationships, and personal evolution. She gives a link of her book, which I'll put underneath the when we post on my
Mm-hmm.
page and in on YouTube. I will put the link for your book where they can get your book and just tell us if it's on any of the websites that we can go on the websites and also get it and
You
just
can
get
get
it
it on
spread it
Amazon.
or you can
It's
get it on
available on
Amazon.
Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So welcome, Colleen.
Thanks for having me.
Happy Monday.
Thank you. Happy Monday to you too.
Okay, so just tell us a little bit about your journey to this place, to
Mm-hmm.
this spot where you are now. Why is it that you thought it necessary to, help women? Well, first of all, we're going to go down because through I take care of pure man. I want to know if there's
Right.
direction for the males because
Right.
the thing is not only one way, and they need to also spruce up their sex life as well. So
Right.
and bring something different to the bedroom. So
Right.
we want to just start with you first, get a little overview of how did you get to this this let me
Moment.
bring
Right.
to women and then
Okay.
now I'll ask you about why aren't men involved in this thing right here.
All right. So I decided to go into this line of work, primarily coming out of my life coaching.
Okay.
So we host workshops, right? Usually we were targeting at the time corporate. So we would go in and do some work with, the corporate people, the corporate teams, and so on. And I discovered a common thread with the women, and it
Mhm.
was that they were all very powerful, very established women. I mean, movers and shakers, amazing, and doing
Mhm.
amazing things. Yes.
Right.
However, most of them were alone. Alone. And I'm talking about women who are
Aggie.
Women who are established, you everything, just about everything you can imagine, they pretty much have under their belts. The accolades are endless. The degrees are more than a thermometer. However, no man. And
Right.
so when I started to dig in a little bit more, I discovered something, and it was that the corporate woman, in order for her to get to where it is that she is, all of what it is that she has accomplished, what I found is that a lot of them lost touch with their feminine, right? And so in order to be taken serious in corporate, I find that we embody a whole lot of our masculinity or masculine side, right? Because anything that is perceived to be sexy or overly feminine is sleazy and has absolutely no place in the boardroom. And then there is speculation how it is that she climbed the corporate ladder, if it was a lot of extended time on her back. So in order to separate herself from this perception, there is a way. I look at the way that women dress in corporate, very boxy suits and so on. And I mean, God bless, Michelle Obama, because she made it okay to be feminine,
Right.
right? Wear dresses and show your shoulders and all this kind of a stuff. Because out here, we understand that is a struggle for a lot of corporate women, right? So it was working with them and having conversations with them and finding that a lot of them, while they're very accomplished, they are very divorced from that feminine side of themselves, and so they will be able to attract a man, but the challenge is keeping one.
Mm-hmm.
And because so much of their masculine tendencies, especially the independent woman, like, the single moms in particular, those who would have had to do it for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
don't know necessarily how to relax and allow a man to lead. And
Right.
so I decided, no, okay, fine. There was some work that needed to be done, but not just for these women, but also for myself, because I found that I was one of those women. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is that I was fiercely and still fiercely independent and so on. And so it was hard for a man to assert himself with me, because I can do that. I have that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn how to dial it back. And in the process, I decided that I was going to teach women how to do the same. I didn't have any issues in terms of the sensuality aspect of it. It was just
Mm-hmm.
creating the balance. And so starting to have conversations with women, having them access that side of themselves and having them recognize that it is it is perfectly fine to be fluid, because a woman, that is our job. You run through the roles fluid like water. You get what I mean? So
Right.
I am no one thing, right? And so what I find is that a woman in corporate is a lawyer. She is a judge, and this is what she carries all through the different roles of her life. There's a way that she conducts herself, and it is hard for them to come out of them head and relax, not
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that that's what a man wants. That's what's that's what's beautiful and catch a man's eye. A woman that is carefree, and so carefree don't mean say you're careless. So it was
Right.
having women get to the space that they could create that differentiation and know that you could still assert yourself in corporate, get all of the accolades and become all those things that you wanted to be in the boardroom. But then you can also find that fluid space that will hold a man, that will keep a man. Because a straight man wants a woman.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the virtues of a woman who can allow herself to be taken care of, a
Mm-hmm.
woman who can allow him to lead, right? A woman who is
So, all right.
comfortable in her feminine.
So, because I'm one of those women, right? Because I'm one of those women,
Right,
let me jump in.
right,
So, I think you go through phases.
right.
So you go
Uh-huh.
you go through phases because if you are alone, meaning you have no help, you don't have a partner in the business, or you
Mm-hmm.
are the head of the business, or you manage many men, or so forth and so on. It's not that my experience is not that you don't want to be feminine. I find that being feminine sometimes you'll get taken advantage of, as you're seen as soft or whatever. Or so over period you may start off soft and then you develop this kind of, I've been labeled by dates, mannish, um, I'm too independent, I'm too, there's so many I'm too.
Mm-hmm.
What I find, because you are able and capable of doing a lot, it is very difficult to relax the reins or to hand over the reins if the person don't really step up.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you made a
If,
brilliant point.
if they don't step up, all right. So if I can change this light bulb, I ask you one time to change the light bulb, you don't change it. You say you soon change it. 1 week pass and you don't change it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for you to change it, but you keep on promising me that you're going to change it. After a while, a week and a half pass, 2 week pass, you're gonna change it because you can't change it. Not that you could change it, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, after that happens the one time, you're not gonna ask him again, and that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what happens. And then you are being labeled as you don't, make the man be a man or whatever. But the truth is, it is a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there are a couple of things to take into consideration, and oftentimes what it is that you're explaining is a complaint of, the independent woman. There is a tendency for them to attract those kinds of men, right? Primarily because they are still leading with their masculine. Hence, therefore, you will draw a man that was going to require all of that
I
coercing
get
and
you
convincing
that
and
through your talk.
yes, and so you leave one to
Yes.
find another to find another. But what I oftentimes say to these women is stop and look because the common denominator is you, is not the man. Is
And,
not to
and
say
I
that
and I
all man
I
soft and thing.
100% agree with you. But the truth is,
Mm-hmm.
how does one turn it off, Caleen? Because the truth is, you are all right. I can't speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody, and I'm not
Right.
speaking for anybody. I have always said, and I continue to say, I'm a man at work. Almost. Call it. I'm a man at work. When I say I'm a man at work, meaning I'm expected to be the leader, the guider, the everything. So I consider myself the at work. When I come home, I want to be a girl. But as you said, because my dominant trait
Absolutely. And
and
you
my
practice this
practice
every day. You
and what
reinforce
is
that every
seen
day.
out there is that what you really attract, as you rightly say, is somebody that comes in and yeah, man, she got it. So they don't really put much
Feel
effort.
like they have to, right.
And so when you try now to dial it down, you get frustrated because you're expected to dial it down and the person is not taking it over. So
Mm-hmm.
so tell us where we start.
Okay, well, it's a combination of things. It
That,
is
that,
under
that's a that's a big balance.
it is understanding as well what are some of the things that the traits in women that men find attractive, right? If it is as a woman you find that you consistently attract these kinds of men, then as I said before, you are the common denominator. So your vibrational level is something that you need to work on. The way that you approach these things is something you need to work on. Now, you said something that was poignant just now, this whole idea that at work you have to be a man. So already there are traits that you have associated with being with being a boss.
Hmm.
And what I'm saying is for women, this is where I help them now to create the balance. It is understanding that that's not necessarily the case, because the fact that you are a leader doesn't necessarily mean that you have to activate your masculine. And let me explain. Let me explain. Because you can give directives, you can also be a visionary, all of those things. Give directives, be a visionary, and still maintain your feminine. It
Kelly,
happens. Yes,
Kelly, you ever
yes,
have to deal with workmen?
I
We're
do,
not talking
sweetheart.
necessarily about staff.
Me talk, yeah, man, they want them to build a man, them wicked and terrible, some of them, and they can't keep to a time. I understand, and you have to be over them in order to execute the task, in order to stay on the timeline. I know. However, there are certain things that you see when you get to your where it is that you are, there is a reason you are boss lady, and there are certain things that you delegate because I am certain in your line of work you have had to delegate. You cannot be all things for everyone and hold
Absolutely not.
every position down. Absolutely. So there are some things that you pass on. And so there is a way now when I have to deal with workmen or whatever else, I will tell them what it is that I need to get done. But I have somebody who goes between. Somebody now who go over there, go shout and carry on and get wicked upon them or whatever else. And I just come and back it up. So this is not what I'm doing every day. So there's that is an energy leak. I don't want to practice that every day, trying to manage the workmen and so on. Somebody else needs to go handle that, right? Because I'm preoccupied doing something else. So there's a way that you have to create balance for yourself. And so again, you have to embody boss lady. And boss ladies is apportioning out because a huge part of you being a manager is being able to help people, have people, motivate people to
Mhm,
move towards that goal
mhm.
and putting the resources in place to have them accomplish that goal, right? So what I'm saying is when you reach to a certain place and where you are in your business, in your establishment, certain things you not take on, you delegate, you have a manager for that. You follow what I mean? And you get
Yeah,
reports from the manager. And occasionally now, when you feel like things not going at the way you want, you take up your phone and you put on your foot and whatever else, but this cannot be the thing that you are doing all the time. You follow what I mean? Because this helps to preserve your sanity, right? And it keeps you in a particular mind frame. After you deal with some of them workmen and you're flustered, cross, angry, and miserably, you understand? You can't take home the energy there and drop
absolutely.
on the man. No. So it is understanding what your role entails and what it requires of you and maximizing that. Yeah. So when you get that, then you're not practicing to do that every day. The other thing is this is to understand again, if you are vibrating on a particular level, then you will consistently attract a certain kind of man. And if your masculine is what you are leading with, then you are going to need men who require you to be dominant over them, to be, telling them what to do and
I
when
don't
to
want
do it.
that.
Absolutely. But then it means that you're going to have to work on you because there is something that you cannot surrender, and it is control. And until you can give up some level of control, and I'm not talking about no sign over your business to nobody, that's not what I'm talking
No,
about.
I have no problem
Hmm.
handing over control if the person is capable of the control. I have
Right,
no problem.
right.
I have a problem if I don't feel as if you are going to. It's because I can, right? Let us get that out of the way. Because you know you can and you are very capable, in many cases, extremely capable. Sometimes it's very difficult to hand over if you don't think the person is either at
That
um,
level, if
that
they're
level.
competent enough, right? But then you see, this is the thing. But this is the issue because the truth is, again, you have to give somebody a chance, and there is a way that the independent woman there, she's very impatient because if he doesn't come, performing straight off of the bat, then instantly you say, oh, no, hold on, no, sorry, I can do this myself, I'm sorry, no, 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 and you're gone. So you don't give them an opportunity, you don't give them a chance, you don't give them a chance to show up. And so if a man don't get a chance to show up, then you pretty much you've taken his balls, you've emasculated him. And a man who feels emasculated will not show up in the way that you want him to, because then he doesn't feel appreciated. And what you end up finding is that the woman is constantly complaining, I ask you to do this, I ask you to do that, or whatever it is. And that same man will be very manly to another woman, but because she is feminine, so she allows him to
Is she
come.
feminine or is she needy?
No, not necessarily needy. She's feminine. And it's a combination. There are some women who are needy and some women who play up that feminine side of them. They're always the damsel in distress, in need of rescue, this kind of a deal, right? Some of them, because they
I
recognize that
did
men
not get
run
that
come.
gene.
No, I know. Neither did I. Neither did I. But I'm not saying I had to learn that it's I can create that balance without coming across as needy. I'm not interested in being needy. I can do it myself. However, there is a way that I want to be catered to. And in order for me to be catered to, there's a way that I have to stand down to allow the man to rise. Yeah? So I have
And
to,
that in
he has to
itself
see.
will increase intimacy and all of that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. So the thing is this, right? Again, with a lot of independent women, because we have had to establish ourselves, we dig deep, and some of us grab ourselves up by our bootstraps and so on. There is a way that it's hard for us to relinquish control. Some men complain the hardest woman to be with is a single mom who is accomplished. Oh God, headache,
Right.
because what can I bring to the table? She pretty much can do everything with her eyes closed. So how can I be of assistance to this woman? And a man needs to know, remember, again, how he's designed is to protect and provide. And if you over there protecting and
Protect,
providing
provide,
all
and
by
protect.
yourself, then you have taken all of what it is that will make him feel substantial in the interaction. And so it is teaching women how to get back to that space, how to soften, how to relax. And it's okay. Wait, and you establish how it is that you want to be treated and allow him to show up to you in this particular way. Because bear in mind, a man meets you, his first, he wants to please you, he wants to make you smile, he wants, because that make him feel good, that he's able to bring all of these things. And the more he gets opportunities to do that, is the more he feels closer to you, right? Is the more he feels as though I can, yeah, I'm handling my business here.
But Colleen, wouldn't some of the women or some of the critics call that dumbing down to fit in to what the
No,
man can handle
no.
or
You
what
see, I'm not
he handle?
suggesting. All right, so let me tell you now. Any man who would have had the privilege of speaking to me will tell you there is no dumbing down around here. I know what it is that I know, but I simply say this is how it is that I want to be treated. Yeah, this is how
Yeah.
I want us, this is how I want you to interact with me. Please understand, as much as I can take care of myself and have been taking care of myself, I fully expect, whenever it is that you have access to me, I fully expect to be catered to, because I am catering to you. And so
Yeah.
in order for me to bring out that side of him, I'm very soft towards him. There's a way that I approach him that ignites his masculine. There's a way that I talk to him. So I don't, there's a way, grandma used to tell me something, be very mindful how you talk to man. You don't embarrass man in public. Yeah. And that
Yeah.
thing never left me. So there is a way that I'm mindful of my tone. Again, you see, I say to women all the time, we are very strong. We can get men to do just about anything that we want, but we have to recognize that we have that power, not to manipulate. It's the reason why women have man wrap up around them finger, I pay for the apartment, I pay for the car, I send her go university, because she's accessed her feminine. She's not able to do that because she's screaming and shouting at him in the phone. No, it's how she touch him. It's how she talk to him, how she
And you
approach
find
him.
women who can get that done, they
Hmm.
can they leave this person and the next man do the same thing. And the next man do the same
Absolutely. But
thing.
you see what I'm
And,
talking
and
about.
you have to do
Energetically,
it.
there you go. And how them women are so fortunate to find man who will take care of them all the
When
time. So you have a
when you
string
can
of man.
barely get a lollipop.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So the deal is this: they are bringing something to the table that you are not, and it is. And when you meet with these people, you can't say them soft. Neither can you say they're a pushover, because they're not. Them,
Yeah,
a lot of them
but
have a plan,
yeah,
and
but
the man is financing the plan.
the guys and myself at the shop, we have this conversation all the time. And
Hmm.
I'm saying, how can you, to me, it's like you're telling somebody that they have to be a totally different person. You grew up like this. I'm a single, I grew up in a single parent home. I was literally the male in the house. I was the one who cut the grass, cut the hedging, change the car tire, wash the car, um, vacuum the car, do everything because the women in the house were elderly and it was me and my cousin, and I was that person who took on that role. So that's all I've known. I mean, it's later on in life that you try to adjust because you realize it's not working for you. But it's like an internal struggle. It's like an internal struggle because your femininity is there, but it's like it's difficult to separate the two.
Yeah, but
So
you see, you are reinforcing the point that I'm making, and the point that I'm making is that, and this is what I help women to do. I help them to go back to that space because you have had years of practice in embodying your masculine. You have always had to be responsible. You've
right,
always had to take care of things. So
right,
it is difficult for you now, having had 30 odd, 40 odd years of practicing to take care. And it is the reason why you are this assertive. It is the reason why you would have accomplished, what it is that you've accomplished because you're a go getter. You practiced it. However, what I'm saying is that is not the sum total of who Sandra is.
no, it's
There
not.
is a portion, exactly, there is a portion of Sandra that wants to be catered to. However,
I
the
would
thing
say
is,
80% part, but
uh,
that 20%, that
mhm.
80% is the one that is not. I don't want to say dormant. Not hidden. That is like two personalities. That other 20% is out there, go getting, go getting, go getting, go getting, doing what has to be done because it has
Mhm.
to be done. And that
Right,
other 20% that she craves for
right.
and, and is locked inside can't get a chance to come out because that other 20% of her
Is so dominant.
is not even so dominant, is so accustomed to doing.
But you
It's
see,
like
okay,
a
so
muscle. It's like a muscle. You
right,
use that
exactly. It
muscle
is
and you use
dominant
that
because you
muscle and you use
practice
that
it. My
muscle.
right hand is stronger
Right,
than my left hand. I carry
right,
everything and I can carry the world in this right hand. And it's only when my trainer man said to me, "Say, I hear this now. You're going to stop that. I want you to start to practice carrying with your left hand because this you lead with this hand. They're
right,
both mine. They're both mine and they're both there for the same function. But
right.
because I use my right hand, I've gotten very, very comfortable utilizing this hand and in the process dumbing this thing down. It doesn't
Right,
mean that this can't be utilized. I now have to practice. I'm going to have to reframe how I approach lifting something, and
right.
that is what I do with women, because as you rightly said, there is a part of you there, and you just put, you see the size of the percentage that you put on it, a portion of you that would love to be catered to. But the thing is, by virtue of always leading with this hand, there's a way that this hand now start, it's not as strong.
Right,
It is not as strong, and we don't trust it because we know it's not as strong. We don't trust it to practice with it all the time. And so that is where I come in. It is to have the woman go back in time to talk
right.
about those experiences, right? That would have facilitated her, being what it is that we refer to as strong. And there is a way that, and I wouldn't even bother starting this conversation, but there's a way that we wrap up the dysfunction that comes with being strong,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, we are strong. So we
Hmm.
don't stop long enough to look at the dysfunction that is tangled, wrapped up, and twisted up in being strong, what it took to become strong, and
Right.
how, and because we're not looking at that, then we go out there and we proudly say we are a strong black woman. But for
Hmm.
me, that there's so much dysfunction underneath that term. Yeah.
Right.
But we venerate the strong black woman, so it's helping the woman understand that that is one side of you that you have practiced. It is not, you have not embodied all that you are. And when you tap into that portion of yourself, when you learn how to surrender, when you learn how to let
That's when your
go,
sexuality comes out.
there you go,
Right.
there
So
you go.
I want to make that point because people might be wondering because the topic is upgrading your sex life, but
Right.
many of us kill our sex life because we put on another persona that the other persona, the our sexuality don't get a chance to
To
shine,
show up,
don't get a
right?
chance to show up. Just even just show up. You don't even show up
Absolutely,
because
right,
you're just trying to keep yourself, always in charge and
right,
top it out.
absolutely,
So that's why I think it was good to get that background before we
absolutely.
actually go
Go
into
into
how do we get what we really want in the bedroom from our
no.
men, and even selecting the type of man that we
Mm-hmm.
want, because many of us may not even select the type of man that we want based on what the what do you call it now, the
You mean the
society
society, right? The status quo. What
society, the
says
status quo.
right?
Many of us may not want what do you call it? What is the office type? Blue collar or
Yes.
white collar? Is it blue collar?
Yes, the blue
One is
collar is right.
blue collar
Is a man in the street. The
is
white collar,
the man
no.
in, white collar is the
Right.
man in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Many may not want a white collar. Many may want a blue collar. But because you are CEO or um, chairman of or whatever, right? You are caught up in you are restricted then.
In
So,
terms of you
right,
caught up with the good opinion of others, so it's
right,
learning again.
right.
So the process that I'm taking the woman through ultimately gets her to that space where she first understands why
What
she's this way, what exactly, and then get to the space now after having recognized what led you down this particular path, now starting to determine, okay, what do I want? Because a lot of us have been living for society and for the
mhm,
Joneses and to keep up appearances and so on, but have never stopped long enough to ask ourselves what exactly we want. But the beauty of life is that it always takes us back to that place. Sometimes it's a divorce, sometimes it's the children leaving the house, sometimes it's the business crashing, or you just
as
wanting more,
yes, as
something
Dr.
eating
Carpenter
you.
says,
Right.
when the children are gone and
Yep.
and
And you have
you
time to think.
and you have time to think, and there's no more period to worry about and fret about pregnancy,
Right. There
and you're
you
free.
go. That's it.
You're
So the
free up.
thing is, getting her to the space now where she can now decide, okay, what exactly do I want? Because sometimes, as you rightly said, it is the blue collar man, even though I am the CEO and top executive, whatever,
Make me laugh.
but
It
it
make me
is
laugh.
it is the little laid back man, a little carpenter man, a little simple man. Him working, I'm not saying a little, a little
Right,
workless man. No, him
right,
working on whatever else, but it is that man that is appealing to you. It is that man that facilitates your surrender and stuff. But
right. I
again,
like
it's
that word.
difficult.
Facilitates your
Y-
surrender. Very
Absolutely.
important. Not everybody get that, It's not
Yes,
every man can get it to surrender, even if you have
absolutely.
billions of dollars in the bank.
No, no. But that person who you feel comfortable with, that person who cares for you in a way that is completely different. He is there, he's supporting you, and so on. And so it is getting to the space now where we're not looking at the man to be our equal. So he doesn't also have to be a millionaire now for me to contemplate him. I
My
just,
term
it's
for it is that he makes me feel girly.
absolutely, no, that's it. That's the point right there, Sandra. And there are some men who just pull that thing out of you.
Right,
So it is getting that woman back to the space now where she wants to be girly. And
right.
whatever labels she have around girly, and there are usually lots and lots of negatives that, wrapped up around this idea of girly, to have her dispense with those thoughts so she can free up. Because your best connection comes whenever it is that you're not preoccupied with your roles, when you're not preoccupied with who he is in the scheme of things, when you're just in the moment with this individual, where
Or
you
he's
are
not comfortable with who
completely
you are either.
there you go, where you're completely uninhibited. That is when you begin to, and you become unhinged and you start to enjoy the moment. So for a lot of women, just being able to be in the moment, and I find that a lot of women that I work with cannot. Your mind is preoccupied with this, that, and the devil knows what else. So how can you surrender? How can you give yourself to your lover if you're thinking about the mortgage? The argument you had 3 months ago, trying to wonder whether or not he's cheating on you, what's going on with the children, and with the,
But that
what
is
you're
real.
supposed to be doing.
But it's real, though,
Yeah, but
That is
listen, but what?
real.
No, but you see, the deal is this: most of us, we have to grab the bull by the horn. And again, we have to get to this space now where we can start to put things down. And I find that women carry things around. So your last lover, the transgressions of your last lover, you're beating your current lover with it, and everything is cross-referenced. So everything you do, you're cross-referencing it. And I say another part of you upgrading your sex is moving through your pain. It's something that as women we don't pay enough attention to. Stop long enough to go fix your trauma. Go fix the stuff, your triggers and the things that have you away. And if you're still preoccupied with your lover who gone 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the marriage that did not work, then you're still broken. So you cannot hope to attract all of this sweetness and man to take care of you if you are still holding on to how man
And
wicked and terrible.
don't leave out the father issues
No,
also.
oh God, please, because
Father that
that is the first
disappoint
man in our
you.
lives. There
Mm,
are the first man who abandoned you, this kind of a thing. So fix that portion of yourself, because a lot of us are going into relationships hoping that we're going to find a man that can be all of these things. Newsflash, ladies, he can't. He
or
can't.
going there with the intention to fix him.
No, and that is the other thing, because
They done
that's
that.
no, but that's this. You see, so I wanted to see how it is now. All of these things affect, impact our sex life. If this
Yeah,
is what it is that you're doing, if you're in God mode, trying to fix savior mode, trying to fix this individual, then you can't connect. Yeah, and it's hard for a man to connect this in this particular way. You get what I mean? Because again, you've switched up the roles. So there are layers to this thing, and most of us thinking upgrading our sex is just lingerie. You know what I
right.
mean? I'm gonna
It's
dance sexy in the bedroom for him, and even though that is all a
no, that's
part of it,
a part
it
of it.
isn't. There is a
You know,
bigger portion, right?
yeah.
There's a bigger portion that we're missing that we need to take into consideration, and it is that the time that we need to spend to fix ourselves, our brokenness. Stop looking for somebody else to fix it. And a lot of us are serial daters, hoping that we're going to find a man that is going to make us feel good, that's going to make us fall in love with ourselves, that's going to make us feel like, a queen and goddess and all of this stuff. You have to bring that. You have to bring
You said
that.
something that was very instructive that I never thought about before. Because you know what we do, when you said it, it just clicked to me. So my persona is mostly masculine. I can admit to that. In the work sphere. I maybe I don't dial it down even when I'm out. I mean, yes, I can be feminine and I'm light and I'm fun loving, but at the end of the day, I still have that energy, that in charge energy, because I've been told me no need nobody, me no look like me want nobody, and I'm like,
Absolutely.
what does that look really look like, so that I can not look like it and change my trajectory. You know what
Now,
I mean?
you see, now
But,
you're hitting it.
but
Yeah.
when you said that,
Hmm.
it makes sense because that's the energy that I put out. So you attract that type of person who likes that either motherly or take charge.
Right.
They are accustomed to that type of parent, mother.
Right. Yes.
So that's what they're looking for.
Right.
So I get that. So how does one go about that balance? Because it has to be balanced because you can't really.
I'm not telling you to get rid of it. Right. Because it has served you well.
How do you manage that back? Because you meet most people either during the workday or you go out, and most times we go out now if we're single, we're hanging with the girlfriends, the strong girlfriends, and so we're having strong conversations, and so I would say maybe the one or two times that I did meet somebody um is when I'm by myself, or maybe with two people, and so that 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 strong feminine energy is not present because you
Hmm.
just kind of just hanging loose. You know what I mean? So I really think that what you said has of a lot to do with who is attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Without
Absolutely.
a doubt.
Absolutely. So, as I said, the work is multi-layered in terms of creating that balance. It isn't just to do one thing or, do these five things and you're going to be able to access that portion of you. Because you have practiced this for so long, you have to now practice some other things. And so
So
there's an
also,
exercise.
yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
There's an exercise that, with some of the women that I work with, that I would say, okay, fine, today you're going to attract some assistance. Okay. So, Eve, I want you to consciously think, okay, what exactly you want somebody to do for you today. Now, instead of being in the habit of jumping out of the vehicle when you get to work and you haul out all of the things them out of the trunk and thing, and then you
I
march
just
with your pulley,
I
go down at the bottom. When it is that you get to work and so on, you're going to first is how it is that you're putting yourself together. So there's a whole process. You're having a conversation with yourself today. You're going to put on your most girly outfit, that thing that makes you feel really, really feminine. So if showing a little bit of shoulder makes you feel feminine, or just a little bit of leg, that kind of a thing, or a little bit of your back makes you feel feminine, that's what I want you to dress in today. I want you to carry that energy throughout the entire day. And in the process, watch and see. Hold yourself, what I refer to as goddess form. Hold yourself in goddess form the entire time. Receive every compliment. And when I say receive it, I mean sit in it, take it. Most of us, somebody says we look like, we say, oh Lord, thanks, our God. But we didn't sit in it. We didn't allow it to wash over us, right? So I receive every compliment that you get. Radiate, feel it coming out of your belly. You get what I mean? And
yes,
see how much more compliments you get, because there is something that happens to you when you put on an outfit. You ever notice when you put on an outfit that you like, you square your shoulders, you hold your body different, your neck. I mean, the entire time you're sitting, you're holding yourself up because you love what it is that you have on. That is an energy. That is an energy signature that people see. So that is what I say to them. Carry that throughout the course of the day. And I promise you, by the time you get to the vehicle, somebody your only task might be to take it out of the car. Somebody going to see you and say to you, you need some help with that. And the first person who sees it, I don't care is who, say yes, thank you, and step out of the way and allow the person to take your pulley out of the car. And then you sit there, and again you're going to walk with him and you're going to have light conversation, and somebody going to come and open the door for you and you say thank you. So what I say, it is a very simple exercise, but whenever it is that I do it with
you
women, I
say it
say,
simply, you say it simply, Caleen. But
what
I
is
am here to confess with my many sisters that the truth is, because it's something that you do and you don't even think about. Because
right?
sometimes when a man say, Lord, where you embarrass me so far? I say, what? You say, you know, see me? You
Yeah,
carry the stuff, if you carry the bag for you. And
thank you.
honestly,
It didn't cross your mind.
I don't even
Think it. There
connection
you go.
that there's a man standing there and I'm taking the bag because I do it every day.
No, but you see, for me now, I come out, I put on my stilettos if I wasn't driving with them, and I will see somebody. I remember rain was falling, and I'm in New Kingston, and I run up to this man and simply said to him, I need your umbrella, sir. Can you just follow me across the way there? And the man frightened him, said, okay, sweetheart. And then me look down, and my shoes need for tie. And the man looked down and him see it too, and I didn't even have to say a word. The man tied my shoelace or whatever else, and I went, okay, I'm ready now. Ready now. And him hold him umbrella and him carry me across or whatever else. I asked for help, but I too had to practice, because it was something that it come natural to me to just grab the thing that I'm gone. I'm not even thinking about it. But now I come out, I am looking to see who can offer me some assistance. Or I make up in my mind, by the time I get to where it is that I'm going, somebody's going to be there to help me. And I promise you, it happens hands down without fail. So it's getting the woman to that space. So it is a process. As I said, it's not a one-off situation, because this unlearning and relearning takes time. It took time for you to get to this space, and it took whole
Yes.
heap of practice for you to get to this space. So by virtue to activate that section of yourself, it is also going to take time and practice. And it's to have a woman recognize
And
that it is
effort.
important.
And
There you
effort.
go. There you go. But it's to have the women recognize you are worth it. You deserve it, because only when now you've explored that side of you, then you are truly embodying all of your feminine, and your feminine is more than just getting pregnant. It's
Mhm.
more than your ability to carry a
And at this
child.
point, Colleen, I need to
Yes.
make a caveat. It's not everybody want a man. We are talking about someone,
Right.
women who wish, because we tend to put everybody in the same category, and I have been corrected and chastised. So
Mm-hmm.
let me hasten to say,
Yes.
are talking about women, strong or weak, women in general that wants to experience their feminine side and to have a man by their side, not
Mm.
necessarily in front of them or behind them,
Right.
but want to have a sexually um,
Satisfied.
satisfying um, relationship that lasts very long, not necessarily a one night or a two night, but something that you can grow into. And we understand that to be with a man, sometimes there has to be, well, not sometimes, most times, there has to be some tweaking of behavior from a single dom to a couple dom. And
Absolutely.
sometimes in the couple dom, that kind of strong masculine energy of a woman does not work with the type of man that she is seeking. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
It is. It
All
is. It
right.
is.
So that's the point that I am making. So before anyone attacks, let me hasten to say we are not speaking for everyone.
All right.
This is the
Mm-hmm.
category of women, the ones who want to upgrade their sex life and enjoy orgasms and enjoy that intimacy that she's seeking from a man.
Mm-hmm.
Some men may like a strong woman to dominate them, and that's their thing. There are women like me who don't want to be the man in the relationship, and these are the things that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Upgrading your sex life, getting what you want in bed, getting what you want out of bed, because sex is not only in the
In
bed.
bed. Mm-hmm.
It starts from the mental before it gets to the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little sex talk on the phone in the morning. Him call you and tell you how him feel about you in the day. But if you are as strong as and don't require it, because as Steve Harvey says, he always says, if you don't require it, my darling, you're not going to get it. So it
Mm-hmm.
is what you require that you will receive. And some
Right.
of us don't know how to require.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we are talking about for all intents and purposes of this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
Right.
clear?
Right, right. Now
Right.
you said something about the orgasms,
Yes.
and when I keep talking about surrender, I say to women all the time, an orgasm comes when you surrender. I find that I have worked with so many women who have faked it, Sandra, for years, back to back, endless
Yep.
relationships and sexual encounters,
Guilty.
and you're faking it the entire time. So it's to get the woman to the space now where, and this is the reason why I teach
I
dance.
don't know better
No,
at the time.
and this is the reason why I teach dance. The
Yes.
dancing now, the movement helps her to come up out of her head, because most of us are unable to orgasm
Tell us a
because
little
we
bit
are too
about the dance
preoccupied.
because some people
No,
don't know that side
so
of
I
your
teach.
life.
All right, so I teach sensual dancing,
And
and
what is sensual dancing to you?
sensual dancing for me is pretty much having the woman experience pleasure through her senses, having her experience herself herself. And when I say through her senses now, it everything, appreciate herself, how it is that she looks, I want her to have an experience of herself that life does not facilitate, that society doesn't facilitate. So it's more than just teaching her how to whine and sit down and twerk and all of this kind of a stuff. That's what the public will see. However, when you come to my dance class, I'm not teaching you. The moves are the last thing that I teach you. I'm going inside of you and having you get to that space where you unlock your temptress. In order to find your temptress, there is a way that you have to let go and appreciate this package that is taking you through life. So my class have help the
And
woman
that
to
is
stop
at
and
any
contemplate.
size.
Exactly, at any size. It makes the woman stop and contemplate, how do I truly see myself? Because most of us are waiting on the eyes of the beholder to feel good. And my thing is to say, no, 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 sweetheart. You see, the thing is, the beholder will see something, but you have to give them what it is that you want them to see. And it's deeper than makeup and tight dress and cleavage and whole heap of backside and hip. It's deeper than that because I find that some of those women have yet to discover loving self. So the dancing is a portion of falling in love with yourself at any size 2, size 20. I don't business. It is getting that woman to the space where she appreciates herself because what a man finds absolutely alluring is a woman who is confident. And confidence isn't your clothes, neither is it the shape of your body. It is how you project all of your aura. It is
Mm.
how you carry yourself. It is the importance, the value that you put on this. And people can see it. And I'm not talking about expensive brands. I
Right.
have seen people in expensive brands and there's nobody home. People can see, and I can see somebody who not one of our outfit, not a piece of our outfit have a name brand on it, but you cannot take your eyes off of her. And it's not because her clothes short and sleazy and whatever, and she's overly colorful. It is just what her energy, her aura
Right.
pulls you in. And so that is what I'm teaching you in dance class. It just so happens along the way you learn how to whine and you learn how to do that. But I'm teaching you how to channel that energy. Firstly, how to find it and then how to channel it.
So
Because
it's
your
like
temptress
this is like a lap
is lap
dance.
dance, right? So, but
Do you
lap
do
dance,
poles as well? Do
right,
you do
to
pole
whenever
dance?
it is that when I have that infrastructure, I don't have it. So I usually end up sending people who are interested in that to to go and there are a couple of places that you can go and learn pole or whatever. But my thing is, even we dance on the ground, we dance on the chair, we dance on a tabletop, we dance on the sofa. But the thing is, I am showing the woman now how to fall in love with yourself. Because when you fall in love, most of us cannot be the temptress because we're not confident in the vehicle that is taking us through life. We have a perception of what is beautiful, and most of us think we don't fall in that,
And
or we
so,
feel
and
that
therefore, some of us still have sex in the dark.
there you go.
Only,
And
only.
no man wants sex in the dark. He's superimposing somebody else's face on you. Men are visual, and I say this to women all the time. He has to be able to see you, and a part of what is sexy to him is if you are confident in you.
Absolutely.
So that is what I'm teaching the woman as a sensual coach. I am teaching you the confidence that is not, dependent on your clothes. Neither is it dependent on the shape, on your shape or whatever. It is what you bring into the space. That is what a man finds sexy. And the thing is, when you put a value on you, there is a way that you tell this man how to treat you. So in dance, we are the ones who are asserting ourselves,
Right.
right? Because the woman is used to being dominated in the bedroom. And I'm saying, oh, okay, that's great. But let's try something else. Let us take control. Let us set the pace. So that's what I'm teaching the woman in dance, to set the pace, because you get something else out of the man
Mhm.
whenever you are setting the pace, especially a man who's used to taking control. You get a different interaction from the man when you hold his gaze. I find, Sandra, the hardest thing for lovers to do is to look in each other's eyes.
Right.
And yet still you share your body with the man and you share your body with the woman every day. And the only time we meet each other's eyes is when we're in argument. A woman will match a man when she in
Yeah.
argument and she upset about this, she look dead in him eye. And a man will do the same. But we find it hard just going through the house to stop and you know how alluring it is just to look at your man?
Yep.
Just to sit and watch him from across the room,
Yep.
just to look and to have him look at you. Even those are the things that I'm teaching in dance class. You get what I mean? How do you
Mhm.
hold your lover's gaze? How do you let him know what exactly you're going to do to him or her with just your eyes, and then have your body follow? Because that changes everything. And most men, as I said, are accustomed to them and take control in the bedroom. Woman lay down and wait for the man to take control. You leave the romance in his department. That's his portfolio. So it's him supposed to make you feel nice, him supposed to buy roses. And I'm saying stop the foolishness. Carry some flowers for your man if he's a flowers man.
Man.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Surprise him with a gift box, and it's not his birthday. And if you have them good man that take care of him, and dispense with this idea that the only time that you can do those things is Valentine's Day. Oh, my one bond that's something there. So I'm not. I'm saying take care of him. Assert
Yeah.
yourself, and I'm saying the same thing to the men. Stop waiting on these days in order to show your affection. If it is genuine, show it.
But
Spontaneity. That is the other thing
absolutely.
that can change. I mean, that thing can change the topography of your love life. Just being spontaneous. Go and pick up your woman one day from work. You say, oh, you, Sandra, you need one of them, man. They will go come in and just kind of tell you, say, pack up.
Mhm.
And all your cuss and your whatever else, the man has to pack up. I talk to the manager, everything is fine, pack up. And him just carry you go a country. Have him here with you. You
My bag
understand what I
already.
mean? But that's what I'm saying. You need one of
Yeah.
those kinds of men who not afraid
Yes.
of your mouth, neither is he afraid of your bossiness.
Absolutely.
Him just come in and him say, well, I hear this now. And you quat because you're in the presence of your king. You follow what I'm saying?
You read, oh, you know, so you're
No, you're in the presence of your king.
peeping. Veronica said, yes, Caleen, we have to be so aware of who we are and know how to flex. I have
Hmm.
learned that I have a power to get what I want from those around me. Is the energy you radiate. Me always need help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
Yeah.
is the energy that you radiate. And there is nothing the matter with asking for assistance.
Yes.
Nothing. So it is to dispense with this idea. You see this thing now where you said the labels are weak and so on. There's nothing weak about a woman who is standing in her feminine. So even the woman who uses it to manipulate, she understands the power.
And
She
she used
understands
it and she
and she
used it for
use
advantage.
it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it is to create that balance, and it is to one as well to dispense with the labels, because the labels also it carries an energy. So
Yes.
if you look at it, if you perceive it this way, then certainly there's no way that you can embody that. Yeah. So you understand that the work is multi-layered. It is absolutely at completely multi-layered, and it's getting the woman to the space that she can appreciate that there is more to her than what it is that society has said.
Absolutely.
Yes,
It says men need to feel wanted. They want
absolutely.
to know that they have a place for them.
Hmm.
Or when I can open the bottles, I call the husband
No,
and him
serious.
run come.
No, is the truth. You have to make
Really?
them feel wanted. You have
Yeah,
to make them and feel appreciated as well. And again, as I said, when you're able to bring that to the to what's happening, it changes your interaction exponentially. So
all right. So you spoke on, and I know you work with women who, to spruce up the
right.
sex life in the bedroom and all of that, and to fall in love with themselves. So what about the men?
Okay. So I also work with men. And the thing is, again, as a life and relationship coach, I am counseling. So I'm helping people to figure out, navigate the challenges of their relationships and so on. And so in my conversation with men, it is having them one assert themselves, right? Having them feel comfortable to talk about the things that they want. Oftentimes women assume that they know what their man wants, and you don't give him a chance to articulate himself, right? It is to get the man to the space now that he feels comfortable to be vulnerable with his woman, because that facilitates intimacy. So a man who can say, all right, this is what's going on with me, I'm afraid, I want to make this other move, I'm thinking about this business, and the truth of the matter is, you notice, and you've been cussing me, talking to me about it, but I have been dilly dallying because I'm afraid. I think about failing sometimes. It's having the man feel that it's okay to cry. Any
So
man when me there would
I,
have to can ball. Him have to
you know,
can ball and him
I have
cup and
I
him.
have 26 years of conversation, and I've
Hmm.
been told I feel like a paycheck. I feel like a credit card. The only time she speak to me is when she speak to me about the children
Right,
or the bills.
right.
It's never, hey babes, how
Thank
was
you.
your
Sweet
day?
and tender. Yep.
Yeah.
You want your
So
hand in, I'm here.
some women are guilty of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Absolutely.
not
Goes without
saying,
saying.
that is
Hmm.
because he doesn't, because I feel that sometimes men don't require it because they don't make themselves open to the conversation. Them coming in, them plop down themselves, them take up the remote, them turn on the TV.
No,
Them
but you see,
they
this is
don't
where you
they
go
don't
wrong,
open
Sandra.
themselves.
No, but this is how you go wrong because the thing is this: when you're tapped into your feminine, your
Mhm.
job is him come in and plop down or whatever else. Again, you've gotten your feminine wiles for a reason,
Yes.
So my man is one of them, man, and I want him to talk. I snuggle up against him. There are many sofas in the living room, but I go in at the one where him sit down, I me curl up on him like puss. You ever see the cat them whenever you come home? Them a rub up round your foot. Them a waiting in the kitchen a cook. Them a rub them tail wrap round your foot side or whatever. Them spin and come back round you like. So that's me. I'm going to wrap up against him, especially if I know my man. If physical touch is his thing, I'm wrapping up against him. I have my hand a run through him head. May I talk to him? May I have my hand a run go down in him clothes. May I
Yeah,
talk to him?
many of us
And it's
don't know
not.
each other's love language.
There you go. So that
Mhm.
is it. It is to figure those things out and to play that up. So if his words of affirmation are going, and I'm going to tell him, "You look so amazing today. I love the way that you handling your business. As a family, I'm so appreciative that you are the head of this household." But you start the conversation, then we say, "No, I mean, him perk up in I'm cheering."
Yes,
You just
that is
lay
true.
some blessings on. And if all you did was say that, and then you go back and you go cook, I promise you, he's gonna come into the kitchen after you because you did something that set the stage, that opened him up, that softened him. Right? If your man now is the type of person that wants to be catered to, him come in, him sit down or whatever else, you open a beer and you can't go get him. And you go sit down beside him, take off him shoes and rub him foot. There is nothing the matter with doing that. But some of us are so independent, we don't feel that we should, or we feel that him's supposed to do that to me. So we don't set the stage, we don't give him the things that we want. Yeah. And so if a man realizes that you are catering to him, then he wants to cater to you back. So it is teaching women how to pull that out of the man because it's there. Because I said this to every woman all the time, when that man left you, him go find somebody else that he is catering to. I promise you. Either that he's giving her the finances or emotionally he's there, and you complain and you say, but he was never that person for me. But you didn't you
Absolutely.
didn't you didn't inspire that. So it's a combination of things. So both of the sexes have to be working on themselves. And if I am doing that, if I am catering to my man, I am, I'm cognizant of the things that make him feel full in love, and I am bringing those things to the table. Then when we connect, Sandra, think explosion must happen. Because if he's
Absolutely.
doing the same thing for me and I am doing that, then when we connect, there is a way that I can get naked with him. And I'm not talking about taking off my clothes. There is a way that emotionally I can get naked. I can fall, and every one of, you know, the strong woman, the boss ladies, all of them need a space that you can collapse into this man and say, I'm tired. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. And him just fling some hand around you and him just take care of you and you drop in at that. You're not busy telling him member for do this, member for do that. You just make him take care of you. All of us need that space. But that's something that we have to gift ourselves. We have
Yeah,
to
but
we
I'm
yeah.
going to go back again to the right selection. And so we still have to go back to the energy we're giving off. Because the problem most times, Caleen, is that we find ourselves in relationships
Mm-hmm.
with persons who you don't want to be in a relationship with. And that is because you gave off the wrong energy.
Right.
Before you know it, they become, before you know it is a relationship. It should never have been a relationship because the wrong message was sent. If you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying. So we end up with someone who cannot, will not give us what we need. Because it's the wrong type of person.
No, but you see, the thing is this, you talked about something that requires time, right? Baby, you spend some time with the individual. Afterwards, you get to the space where you get pregnant and so on. You continue to, build on this
Yeah,
relationship.
because
All as
many women, which I've spoken about in
right,
this similar forum,
right.
many women, once they have sex with a man, it's like the deal seal. So whether I'm good, bad, indifferent, terrible, beat, it is like
No, but you see,
I
Sandra,
don't.
it comes down to, let me tell you what it is though, but that
Tell
comes
you
down
what
to
is
value.
happening.
No, it
Yes,
comes down to how
but
you
that
value
is,
yourself.
and that is true. But what
Excuse me.
I'm
And
saying,
if mm-hmm,
what me I say is that the reason why, which is your to belabor your point, for want of a better word, when we were looking, we the persona that we were putting out
there,
there
right,
is not was not attracting the type of man that we truly want. However, who we got into the relationship with, we try to make it work. Now,
right.
what I want you to do is to speak a little on how do you choose you when you find yourself in this kind of situation. Because many times people are flogging a dead horse because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you find yourself in a relationship with a man or a woman who can't give love. Them not know it. Them never meet it. It was never introduced to them. And you are the brand of love that you are looking for, they don't have it. Do you continue this relationship in perpetuity? Or do you say, you know what? Let me choose me.
The thing
This
is
is what
this,
I
right?
need to feed my soul.
Well, the thing is, this is coming back down, as I said, to how you perceive yourself and what you think you deserve. And a lot of us stay in these relationships, one because we have this single narrative that we have in our head. Why? No good man that exists. So you have one right or so, hold on to the one right or so, because boy, you might go left, you might go pick up some crosses, what's our crosses and what it is that you're carrying. Or we tell ourselves we can't leave because of the children and how this is going to impact the children and so on. And I'm here to say foolishness. There gets to a point where the children aren't dumb. They can see if there is any love in the family, yes or no. Right? And the thing is this, what is the example that you want to set for these children?
Right,
Because sometimes, most of the times, you're best served apart. And if you and somebody just going through the motions, then who is this serving? The child? Really? Come on. So it is getting to the space where you can make that decision to choose you. I want more, and it's to have that conversation with your partner to find out if more is accessible, because some of us don't have the conversation. We sit here, we come into that realization, and we assume that we can't get anything else. Have
right,
you had the talk? And I'm not saying accusing the partner. I'm saying, have you sat down and said, talk only about what it is that I want? I know what it is that this relationship has become, but I would love to know, is it possible for us to do this? I'm interested in us evolving in this particular way, or I feel as though I have grown in this particular way. I would love for you to come alongside with me. So this creates a space now. Okay, maybe we can get some counseling, because my heart's still tied up and twisted up over something that transpired. I'm still resentful. I'm still hurt about something. Or I have my personal trauma that I haven't done anything about that prevents me from moving to that level. So I'm checking to see if my partner is open to evolving, moving, growing with me. And if this person isn't, then it is time for me to choose me. I have one life, and none of
Right.
us know the number of our years.
Not at
So am
all.
I going to spend it? Am I going to spend it trying to
Wait.
convince this man to love me, to deal with me this particular way? Or am I going to take my life into my own hands and practice, exercise that right that all of us have, which is to choose? Because a lot of us relinquish that right in relationship, and we figure our job, or we think that relationships is a long suffering. This idea that boy, I feel I
If you
tie it
don't
out with it.
it,
No
yeah, it's a
foolishness.
part of the process. We have to
No, that's no. No, there comes a point at which you say, "Ah, no, enough is enough. Enough is enough." You draw the line. Sorry. And you decide, I deserve more. My children or my child deserve more. And you make the step to extricate yourself from this interaction. And as much as it is hard, but it is not impossible. And
absolutely.
you have to say to yourself that I deserve this. I deserve this. I want this. I'm going to gift myself this. And once you do that, I promise you, Sandra, I can say unequivocally that it is not going to necessarily be easy, but a path will create itself. It is just for you to be brave enough to start to walk in on that path and to remind yourself every day that I deserve more and that more is available. More is available. More is
Right.
available to me. A lot of us are unable to have these experiences because we've bought into this narrative that no good man no did it, no good woman not dead. So you feel as though you have to settle with what you have. Or you're going to keep yourself out of the game because it's next to impossible to get what it is that you want. And I'm saying, no, that's not true. The things that you want are looking for you as hard as you are looking for it. It's just for you to stay the path. And I promise you, at some point, the two must collide. They must meet. So that is
Patience.
how I look at it.
Be patient and be fixed in your conviction of what you want.
Absolutely. And you must get it.
Right. Okay. So I'm in a marriage. Let's say it's 20 years in. How do I? Okay. So I'm a lady that like to read, and you know, I'm now I'm now in my practice. Kids are grown. How do I bring up, or how do I start the conversation with my husband, who I'd like to spice up my sex life, introduce different things, whether it's toys or different positions or different places or whatever it is.
Hmm.
But it's me and you alone now. Emptiness.
Right. Well, the thing is,
Some men get a little suspicious when
hmm
women start to talk about, what more they want in the bedroom and what have you, what have you. How do you start that conversation and get the men on board with what it is that
a
you want?
combination of things. You can start with a story. I was having a conversation with Janet the other day, and she's telling me that she and Paul did this and this. How you feel about that? Or it could be something that you guys are watching on TV, and then you say, oh, that's something that I would have want to try. How you feel about that? You get what I mean? Or you could actually go and purchase something and say, I got curious about this and I'd like for us to try it together. But the deal is to know your partner to determine, okay,
Right.
what is the best way to navigate that conversation with the person to see, okay, all right, fine. This person likes surprises. They're open to the idea. Or it could just be the both of you go down to the nearest sex shop and say, let's go see. We've never actually gone in. Or it has been years since we purchased a toy. Come,
Right.
make we see what's available. And you go, fatten your eye and see what works and so on and try something. But the deal is, I can't explain this enough. It is to understand that in relationships, the same way that we are upgrading in our work life and so on, it's the
Absolutely.
same way that we also have to be upgrading in our sex life. And so there is a
Hallelujah.
way that we have to
Nothing is
prioritize that
stagnant.
interaction.
Nothing is stagnant.
There's a way that we have to prioritize that interaction to ensure that one spiciness. Bear in mind, the spice is something we have to put in, You follow what I mean? You have to, whenever you cook, you have to add little of this, add little of that, or whatever else. So I need for us to take that mindset,
Telling people different flavor.
absolutely. You have to add different things in order for this thing, for it to spice up. And
Right.
you determine, what am I going to add? Does this need a little bit more salt? Does this need a little bit more sugar? Maybe I should put a little dollop of honey, right? Or maybe just need a little butter. But there are different things now that you are going to have to add, and you want to have a partner who is open to this idea that
And it's not that
we
you
can't be having the same kind of
married,
sex that we were having at the beginning of the relationship
right.
10 years, 15, 20 years ago. We still are doing the same thing. But how much time you
Same
upgrade the car? You buy and sell the house 3 times, and you're still doing that, you're still having the same sex. Come on. And if you have a partner who don't recognize that something is ridiculously wrong with that, then it's time to upgrade that partner. Upgrade the partner, and upgrading the partner doesn't necessarily mean you have to left him. It could be a situation where you are exposing him to the other things that exist, saying that I am curious about this. I would love for us to try it. And it's just to be with somebody who understands that you are growing. So anybody who wants you to be the same sexually, and who's going to become suspicious if it is that you want to introduce something else, isn't the person for you. That person, very, very limited in thought, because the same way that no workplace stays the same, I am sure there are different practices that you're incorporating that keeps you at the top of your game. You're
Yeah,
researching different
that's
ways
how
to
keep
enjoy.
on reinventing the
There you
wheel.
go.
Because if I was the
Absolutely.
same as 1994,
No,
all
people
the
not going to
stuff
keep
was
coming. Exactly. And your competitors would chew you up and spit you out.
oh
So
God,
there is a way that that same mentality that we apply to business, that we apply to all the other aspects of our lives. You go back to school to upgrade yourself. You get first
right.
degree, then you go back and you go for masters, and then if your head's so inclined, you go back for your doctorate,
That's it.
right? And you stay and you go do a little professorship, whatever. Right. But you're the same way. We have to take that mentality towards our sex and our intimacy, and they're both two different things. Sex isn't intimacy. There's lots and lots of sex, but next to nothing in terms of intimacy. So it is doing the things that's going to engender that. And so I say to people all the time, go and learn about sex. Go and learn about master sex, especially if you're having sex with the same person. Master pleasure. How do you get to the space where you're pleasuring? And pleasure is more than penis entering vagina. It's more than orgasm. There is a whole wide world of sex that most of us don't know because we're so based with it. It's limited to just the penis and the vagina. So, and I'm saying that's ridiculous. There is so much more. Go to a workshop. Treat your partner to a workshop. Tantra. Go learn some tantra, because that is adding some spice. Run off for a weekend to one of these places overseas or locally and just devour each other. Have a week of sex in places that you would never normally think of doing it. That would all of a sudden, it's almost like, why do you think the person on the outside, the extramarital affair, is so juicy? It's spontaneous. You know what I mean? It's adventurous, this kind. So bring
And
that in your interaction.
because sex is the priority, then
Right,
you put everything into that. The
right,
person outside we're talking about. Because
absolutely.
because you're married, then it's only really sex.
No, but for
Me,
some of them, it's more than that. For
no,
some
that's
of
sex.
them,
That's
right?
sex.
I understand what you
Then
mean. I get what you mean.
you are my priority. Then put it that way. You are
Right.
my priority. When you come here, the bed, me tidy, or sit down, me wait for you because you have to leave. You have X amount of time in which we have together. So
Mm-hmm.
that person makes you a priority. And so that's what happens. So you do what the person like, you study the person, you do everything the person like to please the person because remember now you're on the outside. So for him to keep on coming back, you literally have to make that connection.
Mm-hmm. So,
You know,
so again, as I said, a combination of things, but it is really, really, it is doable, and the truth is that your relationship is actually worth it. relationship is worth it. And again, for you to, as you rightly said, just keep reinventing the wheel, it does require work. And so we cannot leave it to one person to keep the spice coming. We can't leave it, in one department either to keep the spice coming. We have to have a multifaceted approach to our
Can you
relationship in order
suggest
to
like
get.
some of the things that we could, I mean, upgrade our sex life with?
Okay,
So
well,
make some suggestions.
okay, so I started talking a little bit about that when
Right.
I said, one, in terms of edifying yourself, what else is there? Going to workshops, because there are workshops locally and overseas that are available to you in terms of different ways of engaging your partner. Again, try a different way of love making. I mentioned tantric sex. Tantric sex is amazing because we are not driven to climax. We're using the breath to connect. You are connecting on a deeper level that regular sex don't facilitate, because the
Okay.
emphasis is the race to climax. Yeah. So tantra now is teaching the other portion of it, looking into your partner. There is a reverencing that most of us have never had in sex that tantra is teaching. So learn different ways of pleasuring your partner, different ways of having sex, different positions. Try them. And when I say different ways of pleasuring yourself, I'm talking about, look, explore that whole business of the pain and the restraints. I'm talking about BDSM, the bondage, and so on, that got ridiculously popular when that movie came out, right? I'm saying explore them, because you will never know your pleasure points if you are doing the same thing. And you would be surprised
If you don't
how
like it,
just
you don't
putting
do
on a
it again.
blindfold,
You
there
don't
you
like
go.
it, you don't do
You
it again.
don't like it, but you would be surprised how just putting on a blindfold changes the experience, your foreplay experience, or even the sexual experience. You just not being able to hear, because or not being able to see. Once it is that you block out your sight, it heightens all your other senses. So trying different ways of approaching each other. Again, different locations. Most of us have restricted sex to the bedroom. It only happened in the bedroom, in the bed. And
I
I'm
have
like,
the
what?
I have the
What
good
is
book to think
happening?
about.
Come
What did I
on. Come on. The kitchen there. I mean, there is the floor. There is the floor. You understand me? There is outside. There is an amazing world outside. So it is mixing the thing up. Role playing. Who am I going to be today? I'm the dominatrix today, and you're the submissive, right? Or I'm the French maid and you're the gardener. Role playing, my girl, you would be surprised how that can heighten. Just come home in our outfit and see how you love a perk up. And I'm not just talking about lingerie now. I'm saying dress up, take on a different role altogether, and whole character. Step to your partner. I mean, assertively, especially for those women who are shy. Step to him, surprise him at work, and do something. I mean, even if it is just to give him some fellatio on the job and walk out nice and dignified. Nobody don't know, but he know, because that's the thing that the girl on the side going to do. She gonna come over. She not no long talking. She not talk about the mortgage. She not talk about the penny. There. She come. She give me a little piece, or she give me a little promise, a little taste. I want wait for you later.
Mhm.
Him a count down the time for reach. And not only is he counting down the time, him stop and him buy her this and buy her that, because she come and she give him a little top up in at the lunchtime. You get what I mean? So what I'm saying is, think like his mistress, embody the mistress, take that on, and
But
look and see what happens.
what does trust? What role does trust play in all of this, though, Caleen?
What do you mean? Like what?
Trust, because a lot of us maybe don't do a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
because we don't trust our partner,
Right.
or we have reservations based based on maybe something that he did before, or
Mm-hmm.
we just don't we hold back. I think a lot of us in relationships hold back because we don't want to get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
because if they cheat one time, or you hear say him have one little girl out the road or whatever. It
Mm-hmm.
the trust or the lack of trust,
Right.
I think, damage many relationships, and our willingness
To
to
try.
go
Well,
beyond.
all right. So here is how I'm going to answer that question. It is to say that, again, you owe it to yourself if there has been some kind of infraction, right? If there has been infidelity or something that would have broken the trust in the relationship, then it is incumbent on you to fix it. We do not sweep these things under the carpet, right? And spend the time necessary to go through the motions. There is also another way that I'm going to talk to the women where this is concerned, where if it is that you and your partner have spent the time, you've gone counseling and so on, there's a point at which you must let this thing go. And a
If you're
lot of
gonna
us
say, you have
want
to
to,
let
if
it
you
go.
want to save, the relationship, there's a point at which, having done the work, having gone through what needs to go through or whatever else, 3 years down, if you're still reminding him what it is that he did to you and how it damaged you and hurt you or whatever else, then it simply means that you have not forgiven him and you need to let this go. But you cannot perpetually beat him over the head with this thing, to keep him humble, to keep him in line. And a lot of us, we use it as a way of extracting the things that we want from him. So it's almost like it's manipulation. And I'm saying, stop. You cannot build a relationship on that. And a man knows when it is that, this thing has stretched out long. And I'm not saying that there is a time period for your hurt and so on. I'm saying if you're actively working towards fixing it, then there is a point at which you cannot no longer beat the person over them head with what them did 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. There's a point at which you have to let it go if the relationship is to survive. And so where that is concerned, you must work on that. Fix it, get to the space, because a lot of what it is that I'm talking about only comes whenever it is that you get back to the space that you're comfortable
Right.
with the person that you are with, right? So
That inner sense of
spend the
freedom.
time necessary, right, to fix it, invest in the relationship, determine whether or not this thing is something that you can get over, because sometimes you're so devastated what the person did, you cannot recover from. But if you and the person cannot make it, then cut off the relationship and go on.
Move
But
on.
don't
It's like
stay in there. Exactly. Don't stay in there and
yes,
cuss every day and talk about how him hurt you and how she hurt you and how she a Delilah and how him a wicked. I mean, make a decision. Make a
yes,
decision and move on
yes.
and get to the space now where you can enjoy. Cheating isn't the worst thing to happen to you in a relationship. I have found that it is possible for relationships to build back even better than what they had initially after cheating, because cheating creates for some relationship the space to honestly dialogue about the challenges that you are facing. And a lot of us are in a facade. We're, for peace sake, we're not talking about the things that we really do need to talk about. And so when there is something as gargantuan as cheating, it gives you the space to throw off the airs and to actually speak honestly, if it costs to Jamaican bad word,
Mhm.
to tell the person how it is that you honestly feel about what they were doing and so on. And for it creates a space now for the person to actually hear you. It creates a space for you to get some intervention, because some of us have been, working with a lot of dysfunction in the relationship, and because we have never sought
Absolutely.
professional assistance, we don't get over it. So it creates the space for all of those things to happen. And when you get some guidance in terms of, how do you navigate your relationship, how you move forward, how you get over the hump and so on, then you can build back and build back even better than what it is that you had in the initial stages. So I am not, I never believe that cheating is the end of the relationship. It isn't. It is possible for some, not all, because some, you know, what it transpired that you cannot, have a stomach for cross it. And I am not saying that you stay. If you feel as though you can't, then leave it alone. Yeah, there are
But you
some.
must make a choice.
Absolutely, you make a choice, but don't stay in the relationship and complain about the things that he or she isn't bringing if you don't feel as though you can get it. And this is after you have tried all of the avenues available to you. Then it is time to make a choice in your best interest. It's
All
time
right.
to move on.
We spoke a little bit about, or we touched on orgasms
Right.
and achieving orgasms. And I find that, to achieve, well, my to my very limited experience,
Hey.
I find that there's a G spot orgasm and there is like a clitoral stimulation orgasm. I find the
Mm-hmm.
two of them completely different.
Right.
One is like you're going to have a heart attack, your breath cut out, and you feel like you're going to die. That for me, the G spot um, orgasm. Now, it also comes when you and the person is in tune. You can say to the person freely, this is what I like, this is what
Right.
I want to do, that's what I want you to do, and you comply.
Right.
So, how, not how, not achieving this
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and having maybe spoken to the partner when it is um what you want and they're not complying. Does this require no counseling, or how do you push past that point of I'm not getting what I want? This I know I can achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
My current partner is not getting me there. Whether it's some break in transmission, we are not connected.
Right. Hold
Because
one second.
sometimes
I'm
you
going.
talk and talk and talk.
I'm going to need my phone to charge. Uh,
Okay.
Baby, you can just pass the charger for me, please. Just pass the plug-in for me
We
as
have,
well.
we have 20 minutes left.
Right.
So when we have um but not having a connection and you talk and you talk and you talk and you talk, then it's time for counseling. He doesn't want to go to counseling because
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with
Ask
him.
him to plug it in.
Nothing wrong
Yes.
with him because he has a nice size penis
Right.
and he's working it. And, you know, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Work
Right.
that for somebody who is going through that struggle.
Mm. Okay. So for somebody who has that to deal with,
And you know
then
exactly what you want, you know exactly what you need, but somehow
mm-hmm.
the communication not reaching the other person.
Well, the thing is this now. Then you decide, okay, fine. It's how it is that you're having that conversation with them. Now,
Okay.
it could be depending on the person that you are with. It just takes you talking to them about it. I like it, and you could talk about it after a sexual encounter or after doing something that makes a person that disarms the person, right? And the thing is to always start with a compliment. This is what I like. I like it when you do this. I like it when you bring that to the table, and so on. I find this very exciting. All of this good stuff, right? And then after that, you're saying, okay, fine. Ask the person, what else would you like to experience? So again, you are creating the space for the person to talk about the experience that they want, and then you mention, okay, all right, hmm, so I would like to try this, and I think I'm very curious about it, and I
No, but
mentioned it the
no,
other
no, no.
day,
No, that's not what I'm
right?
talking about.
You're saying
I
having had the
know
dialogue,
for certain
right?
this is what gets me there.
Right,
I have spoken to you about
and
it,
the
but
person
in your mind, the size
yours
of my organ
is
and
supposed to be enough,
expertise should
right?
be enough. You have there is such a thing as narcissism.
Yes,
We're not
right,
reaching the narcissistic level yet because
right,
that's a whole lot of program.
right, right.
But
Hmm.
in their mind,
Right.
you
They're bringing
should
it.
be satisfied
Right.
with what I'm doing
Hmm.
because this is I've never gotten any complaints before, and what they're doing is bringing what they used to do with Mary Jane and Susie into
Right.
your situation, and Mary Jane and Susie could maybe have an orgasm, as you said,
Like this. Right. Breeze
up,
blow.
right?
Right.
But my situation is a little different. My
You require
cock
more
is on
stimulation.
up into the left, down to the right, and deep down to the back, right? And
Right.
this is the position that I want, and whatever. But
Hmm.
he's not hearing.
So now the
Either he
thing is,
doesn't care,
mm-hmm,
thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread,
mm-hmm,
or he just doesn't have the
mm-hmm, understand the bandwidth, right?
yes,
So the thing is, then you're going to seek some outside assistance, because having had that conversation, then ask somebody else to intervene, to talk about why this is important to you, to create the space for you both to dialogue without him or her cutting you off. If you find that the person is reluctant, in terms of engaging that, then that's a message. That's a message, because
right,
that simply means that your pleasure doesn't matter to this person.
absolutely,
And so when if it comes down to that, they're not open to going to talk to somebody about it, they consistently tell you that it's your fault, they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, how come you can't get it, is you need to go talk to somebody or whatever. If you find yourself in a situation like that, then you need to make a choice again, because this person isn't prioritizing your pleasure. And again, I find that as women, we prioritize the man's pleasure, we prioritize his climax. His come is proof positive that we were doing something, we're really good in at the bedroom and all of this kind of a deal. But you don't think about your climax, your orgasm in that particular way. Whether or not you get one is besides the point. You just want to make sure, say, him get the come, because that means you're going to keep him. He's going to keep coming back. And a lot of
right,
women, that's how we think about it. And my thing is to say foolishness, absolute foolishness. Having had the discussion with your partner, if it is that they are not prepared to prioritize your pleasure the way that you are prioritizing theirs, then it is time to leave, because you cannot get that experience from that individual. And but it
right,
doesn't mean that that experience isn't available to you. It just means that this somebody cannot give it to you,
right.
and
They're not
you're
interested in giving it to you.
no, they're not interested. And if they're not interested, then you keep it moving. Your job isn't to force anybody. Something as
Absolutely.
important as pleasure. If the man isn't interested in your pleasure, if he isn't asking you, is this doing it for you, how do I get you to come? If this is not something, if don't come up in the conversation, none at all, then this man isn't yours. This man
No,
isn't yours any at all. He's not
right.
interested in your pleasure.
Get you.
Hmm.
Then there's a flip side. Before the men eat me, there's a flip side. They want certain things that their woman isn't willing to do either. I don't
Hmm.
oral sex. I don't do this. I don't do that. The I don't do.
Oh
Or
Lord.
it can be not necessarily the woman's fault, but some men put their wives in a box. Oh,
So she not supposed to do them
wives
something there,
don't supposed to do
right?
this, and wives don't do that. So it's all these different assumptions that people make, or these I don't do, when to me there's a lack of freedom in the bedroom.
Well, you see, the
That's
thing is,
why
is that no, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Again, it is a place that so much there's so much available to us if we're able to access that side of us. But then because we walk in there with so many things, so much dysfunction, so much trauma, so much socialization, it is difficult for us to actually just enjoy the encounter. Now the deal is, I say this all the time, and I cannot reinforce it enough. At some point in your courtship, there must be a conversation about, sex and what brings you pleasure. If it is that you are not two virgins coming together, then that must be something that's on the table. And even two virgins coming together must can talk about that as well. What am I curious about? Now, a part of that conversation is establishing, okay, find the things that do it for you. So I can't be with someone who isn't interested in cunnilingus.
right.
We, we can't be in a relationship. And so when we have that conversation and you say, oh, you don't, I go, oh, okay. You
So
instantly
you
my
establish the deal
friend zone.
breakers from early.
Absolutely, absolutely. But a lot of us still push on and we feel like we're going to convince him and we're going to be the first
Yes.
one to get him to try this. I am saying, don't do it. don't do it. You have some people who are prepared, and again, this depends on the personality of the person that you're interacting with. Because some
Yes.
person will say, I've never done it, but it's something that I'm open to giving a shot. You can work with that person. But somebody who says, I don't do this and I don't do that, where are you going? Where are you going? Because this is somebody that you're going to give bun. You're going to cheat
Absolutely.
on this person because, especially if this is a part of your sexual expression, come
And
on.
you enjoy it.
And you enjoy it. No, there are certain things that me talk to my man and him understands. So I must have this, and this. If we are not kissing, then we are not connecting. I cannot be with a man who doesn't enjoy kissing. That's important to me.
Hmm.
It's more important than the penetration because that pulls something out of me that
Yeah.
connects me to you in interaction. Then the penetration can come. But I need that. And if you can't kiss me, if you cannot look in my eye, me and you can't cross it. I'm sorry.
So
If
this
we
is
cannot
a
connect on that,
conversation you think that has to happen
yes, that it must
in
happen.
dating. So you're not gonna further waste your time.
No, no, because if you can't give me them something, then me sorry, then me and you we're gonna waste each other time. You're gonna frustrate me. You're going to frustrate me, and I'm not about that life. And when you reach certain age, Sandra, there are certain things that we must just talk about. We are grown people,
Absolutely.
man, for God's sakes, with sexual
Absolutely.
desire, and all of us want good sex, but all of us have a concept of what is good sex. Let me hear your concept of what is good sex for you, and then I'm going to tell you my concept of what is good sex for me, and let's see, can the two meet? Can we cross it? Because if we
Right.
can't, then peace out, brother.
Next.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Peace
Go
out.
with God. Yeah, man. Go with God. Go with God. Me and you not have it. We not have to do this. We
Yeah.
don't have to do
Be
this.
friends.
Yeah, man. We
If
can
I
be
need
good
another
friends.
friend. If I
Yeah.
need another friend, that's if.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's a
So
fun.
yeah, that's it.
Is there anything that you wanted to say in this program that I have not really touched on? Something that you think that's pressing that you need to say about upgrading your sex life and achieving that ultimate connection
Okay.
with you and a partner.
All right. Make your partner meditation.
Come again?
Make your partner a meditation.
All right.
A lot of us, as a yoga teacher, what I can say to you is um, stillness. Yoga brought me stillness, and stillness took me inside. Yeah. And it opened up portions of me that I would never have accessed. Busy bee Caleen. Now, a part of that was meditation. That was facilitated by me meditating. And meditation is just me sitting silently and emptying my mind. So I'm either listening to water, I'm listening to music or something, and then it gives my spirit an opportunity to speak to me. When I make my partner a meditation, I now pay attention. I learn this individual. I learn this person. I understand the things that matter to him. I understand the things that will build him up. I also understand the things that will break him down. Yeah. And so, as the woman in his life, as his empress, as his goddess, as his queen, there is a way that when I know these things, then I can facilitate him staying afloat. I can facilitate him finding and living in his king in that place. I can reverence him. Yeah. Whenever it is that I have made him a meditation because I know him. And there is a way that one of my favorite movies was The Avatar. And there was a line that they used to say to each other is, I see you. And the thing is, that
Oprah
is so,
always talk about people
I
want that connection to just
absolutely,
know that
I
I
see you.
I
And I
hear
want
you.
you to, I want you to see me and I want you to hear me. And that only comes when I have made you a meditation. Because there's a way that I want to be able to look across the room, my partner, and he knows I'm in distress, or he knows that I'm loving him with every fiber of my being right now. So if he's up there talking or doing something, I want to be able to strengthen him from sitting here in the room. You follow what I mean? That
Yeah.
happens when I know you, and that comes from me meditating on you, making you, a practice, understanding you. And if we bring this to the story, then I promise you, all of what it is that we're trying to do in the bedroom must fall into place because I've studied you. I understand you. I know the buttons to click. I know what to dial back and I know what to push forward and I know when. You follow? So I know when to come to you and I know when to leave you in a little cave. I know when you are most, when you're most open to a conversation. And I know when you're most pliable. I know when you need comfort. And I know when you need me. When you need this, when you need my body, because this is a part of your build back and a part of your spa and a
Right.
part of your, you understand. I know when you
Absolutely.
need that exactly, and I don't give, and I give it to you as your queen. So it's no manipulation, not, I fix to it, nothing. I give it to you clean, and that energy change
Yeah.
life. That is the energy that they say behind every good man. That's how I become that woman. And behind every strong woman is that man who spent the time, to make her a meditation.
Absolutely. That sounds like something I'd like to experience. No,
and
honestly.
it and it's available. I promise you. But you have to create it because you, my love, created Boss Lady. This didn't come from nowhere. This came out of a concept that God saw in a Sandra head, and Sandra meticulously you sat down and you put it together that you want with a lover. It is in your hand. Create it, and when you see it, jump on it. Fling down Sandra and jump on it. You understand what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Stop.
Why
Come
you're
out of
freezing?
come out of your head and jump
You're,
on
freezing.
it.
You're freezing. Your connection. I don't know what's wrong with your
I
connection.
don't know.
You're
I'm not
frozen.
sure.
But I'm
Yep.
hearing you though. But you're frozen.
But that's it. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, Caleen, listen. 2 hours fly by like I can't even. And I'm sure there's lots more. But I thank you so much. This has been extremely enlightening. I got a few aha moments. Especially about that. And no, seriously, because this is something that
Okay.
concerns me. Because
Right.
the truth is, being for me, being alone, and many other friends of mine or persons that I've spoken to, alone is not like you're lonely. You're okay. But I thrive in a relationship that I'm happy in. I
Absolutely.
literally
Come
feel like I
alive.
have wings.
Right.
Literally, if I know that person got me and that person is supportive of me and that person gives me the strength to push through.
Right.
You feel like you have a little person propping you up. That kind of thing. And that consistency that that even if you go home and you're stressed out and say, boy, babes, so and so and so and so, and I'm saying, look here, now what you say about that tonight? Tomorrow morning we sit down and we talk it out. That
Right.
that little thing, because persons perceive you as being strong or whatever
All the time. Yep.
all the time. They say, she got
She
this.
not. Yeah, man. She
Yeah,
figured this out.
and men too, because men have that. I got this. I'm the man, and I'm
Right.
and so many times they need a woman to say, "Babes, you all right? Yeah, or even just to carry my beer, or even just to rub him foot and say, how was your day?" You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's, I mean, and yes, sex is a priority for most men, but even sex, you have to understand what sex does for a man. It brings him down, it levels him off, it kind of free up his mind to be, that person that he wants to be.
Right.
So this conversation was very enlightening. You mash my can plenty time. I'm not holding against you. But the truth is we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yes,
And if it is that you want to achieve something in life, and as I said, this is not for everybody. Not
it
everybody
isn't.
wants a man,
Right.
right? And so um, one has to find if what you are doing is not working, then you need to try something else. So,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Indeed.
So you
Indeed.
seek the knowledge, as you said, educate yourself,
Hmm.
go out there, put yourself out there, try different things, in terms of being available to the opposite sex, not only physically, but mentally. You know.
Certainly.
So that in itself, you have really schooled me this evening, and I'm sure Kamoy says, thanks, ladies. She said, this was so good. She said, Kamoy said, the conversation is so good. I'm a bit speechless, but you guys are dropping the gems, you know?
No
So,
worries.
you know, that is true. But we have to be honest with ourselves as to what we want
Indeed.
in our lives. Because success to you, for you, is not necessarily success for me. Success,
Hmm.
people say, oh, but Sandra, you're so successful and a success in business. But what about
Hey,
your personal life? When business
absolutely.
gone about it business, are you one left?
Indeed.
Not that there's anything with being alone, let me say,
Hmm.
but what is your preference? So with that, I say thanks, my sister.
You're most welcome.
You keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank
You are
you.
helping many, including me. And I just want to say, continue to do your work. I mean,
Yes.
it's a hard work, and
Hmm.
it's an unusual job,
Yes.
but it is definitely helping. So
I
thank
get
you.
it.
Have a good evening.
You're
Thank
most
you so
welcome.
much for joining, Boss Lady, and
Yep.
my family, my social media family,
Right.
and we wish you all the best. One in the sales of your book, and I know another book is going to be coming
Yes, indeed.
soon, very
Thank you.
soon, with all the research that you have done. So I
Mm.
thank you so much. So next week,
Blessings.
yes, blessings, my
Thanks for
darling.
having me.
Bless you, bless you, bless you. Has been our pleasure. So next, oh, by the way, how can we
Yes.
find you? Please let us know
Ah,
how we can find you.
okay. You can find me on social media. Instagram, you can find me at Caleen D. That's Caleen Dee, Caleen D. Outside of that, you can also find me on Facebook at Caleen Diedrick. And once you send a message and it's business, then there will be a response. You're
Right.
good to go.
Yes, she does respond to her
Yes,
messenger. She
to
does.
the
So
business, to
that's how
business.
I
There you go. Yep,
so
the
thank you
business.
so much.
Blessings, my love. Take
Okay,
care.
come on, I was about to ask, so it's a good thing. All right. So next week we will be on with Dr. Lawson Myers. We'll be speaking on oral health. So we'll be and that's a very, very interesting topic again. And we'll be bringing you, and you don't even understand that we only think about teeth when we come to the dentist. But the other day, I went to the dentist and she spoke to me about, my sleep apnea and all of that. She had a whole um, Zoom conversation. It was awesome. I was like, dentist does these things? So next week, we're going to be joined Heather Lawson Myers, and she will be talking about oral health. So see you next week. Remember, join us same time, 8 p.m. And it's usually 2 hours. We hardly ever last for less than 2 hours. Usually an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on the topic. Please bring your questions, and don't be shy about asking questions. Just join us each time and learn. And if not, you don't want to join us live, then you listen to the replay when we're done, because it's posted on the pages on the YouTube page and on my Facebook page at Samuel Sandra all the time. So thank you for joining us again. Once again, good night. Have a good evening. See you next week. Thank you for joining Boss Lady Live.